You get a text that says, "You did amazing." And the first thing you feel is suspicion. Not pride, not relief, suspicion. Maybe they're just being nice. Maybe they didn't see the mistakes. Maybe, if they knew what was actually going on in your head, they wouldn't be saying that at all. Weird, right? Most people assume the problem is not having enough success yet. But what happens when the success shows up and the feeling stays anyway? You finish the project, you get the compliment. You hit the goal you've been chasing for months. For a little while, it actually feels good. Then, something shifts. You reread a message you sent an hour ago, wondering if you sounded stupid. Someone says, "Great job," and you're already explaining to yourself why it doesn't count before they've even finished the sentence. You hit that goal, and instead of pride, you feel relief, like you dodged something. And before that feeling even settles, you're on to the next thing you need to prove. If any of that's familiar, stick around. This might explain something you've never quite had words for. Here's what doesn't add up. The harder you work, the less satisfied you get. Nothing sticks. No praise lasts long enough to actually land. You can collect proof for years and still feel underneath it, like you're behind. So why does the feeling survive, even when the evidence says otherwise? The easy answer is low self-esteem. But honestly, that's not quite it. This doesn't feel like insecurity. It feels more like a job, one you don't remember applying for. The job of proving over and over that you're allowed to feel okay about yourself. Somewhere along the way, that's basically what happened. Your worth stopped being something you had and turned into something you had to earn. Look at what that looks like, day to day. A compliment feels good for 10 minutes, then you start cross-examining it. You do something well and immediately scan the room for who noticed. You say, "I'm fine," when you're not. You finally get the thing you wanted for months, and almost instantly, it feels ordinary. Ever notice that? The thing you wanted for so long loses its power the second you actually get it. Not because it didn't matter, because your mind was never planning to stop grading you. That's not a personality trait. It's a pattern, and patterns come from somewhere. Usually, it starts early. Maybe praise only showed up for the good grade, not the days you simply tried. Maybe a mistake got more airtime than the effort. Maybe being useful felt safer than having needs. Maybe love just seemed a little more available when you were impressive. It's rarely one big moment. It's 100 small ones, repeated until they stop feeling like lessons and start feeling like just how things are. After enough of that, not enough becomes the default setting. Every achievement after that is really just an attempt to argue with it. Then you grow up, and the pattern grows up with you. It shows up at work and relationships, and how one bad day can suddenly make you question your entire worth. And this isn't just a theory. Researchers keep landing on the same thing. People who tie their worth to achievement handle failure differently. A setback doesn't feel like a setback. It feels personal, like confirmation of something they were already afraid was true. One large review, over 80 studies, tens of thousands of people, found that perfectionism doesn't build confidence as you'd expect. It actually tracks with lower self-esteem. Makes sense if you think about it. When the standard is perfection, almost every outcome becomes another reason to feel behind. And then there's impostor phenomenon. You probably know the feeling. Even without the label, people succeed and can't hold on to it. They explain it away. Luck, timing, anything except, "I was actually good at this." Researchers have found this shows up regularly, even in people with years of proof sitting right in front of them, which says something. The problem was never a lack of evidence. It's that evidence has a hard time overriding a belief that got installed way before the evidence existed. Put it together, and a different picture forms. Achievement never feels like enough. Not because you haven't achieved enough, but because you're asking it to do a job it was never built for. If it became the source of your worth, all it can offer is temporary relief, not lasting security. That's why the feeling keeps coming back. It was never really about the achievement. So here's the reframe. The feeling that you're not enough might not be a reflection of who you are. It might just be an echo, an old lesson, still quietly running in the background. One that taught you love was conditional, mistakes were dangerous, and what you produced mattered more than who you were. If that's true, the feeling isn't necessarily telling you the truth. It's telling you a story, a very old one. Repeated so many times it started sounding like your own voice. So, I'm not going to hand you 5 habits or 3 affirmations. Because the real question was never, how do I become enough? It's, who convinced me I wasn't? Sit with that. Don't rush to fix it. Just notice it. Sometimes knowing where a feeling came from is the first moment you stop treating it like a fact. If this hit close to home, tell me in the comments. What's the one thing you keep chasing that you believe will finally make you feel enough? I have a feeling a lot of us are chasing the same thing without realizing it.